This is Frank from Fortress Defense. I'm here today with Beth Warford, the lovely, talented, and extremely tough owner of Pretty Loaded. And,
Hello, Frank.
hi, how are you?
Thanks for having me.
What is it that prompted you to get into the idea of women's self-defense specifically?
Well, it was an event that happened in my life where I was almost attacked with two of my daughters. And it made me feel so uncomfortable and like I was a complete failure. And I decided that I needed to do something more because it wasn't the first time that I had been targeted by somebody.
And what did you do at that point to start changing that?
At that point, I signed up for Krav Maga and learned how to fight with my body. And then my husband found your company, Fortress Defense. And when you came out here, it was more than just the gun training. It was, you asked some really good questions like, Beth, why do you think you were targeted? And you brought up some really good points. You know, some things like I was distracted and maybe looked a little submissive, just not paying attention to my surroundings.
Which we're all guilty of at one point or another in life.
Exactly. And so you and Tommy and Vince really kind of talked to me and instilled some things inside of me that made me look into my safety even more. And it wasn't just my safety, but also my daughter's safety, that I'm in charge of them.
That's great. As far as your company goes, though, what prompted you to go into that, to take that step to become a teacher?
I really think I stumbled onto something that most people aren't teaching. It's either firearms or martial arts, and there is a little bit of situational awareness along that with firearms and martial arts, but I think I stumbled onto some interesting things like predator mindset and body language and how you read people's body language, intuition, and then actually just paying attention. I mean, very rarely do people just come out and attack you. You can see the signs and symptoms.
Sure.
So our big thing is nobody likes to fight, so our big thing is to avoid the fight, and there are so many things you can do to avoid the fight.
And it also probably gives you something that you can teach in a few hours. You know, you're not sending somebody away pretending they're a black belt or something like that, but it's something you can do proactively to get women involved in their own defense in a short amount of time.
Exactly. And the hardest thing is really denial, and we hit that in the very beginning of our classes because nobody wants to think about getting cancer, right? It's not fun, or losing your job or getting attacked. But if you don't think about those bad things, and if you don't prepare and, you know, plan for the worst but prepare for, but if you don't plan for the best but prepare for the worst, then you can't ever really survive. The people that survive natural disasters or violent attacks are all the ones that have prepared in their mind.
Right. Since you've been doing this now for a couple of years, what's the most common question, the first question that you get from any woman who contacts you?
The first question is usually, you know, how can I protect myself? A lot of them don't want to use a gun at all, and that tends to be the biggest thing. And I tell them there are so many things that they can do, you know, before they ever have to use a gun. But I would say that's probably the number one question. They just want to protect themselves.
We know that violent attacks are so common in women's lives, and most aren't reported.
Right.
What do you find is the most common thread amongst all the women that you know who have been victimized? What's the common story that you hear?
I think the common story is that they were with somebody that just didn't seem right, but they seemed so nice, or they seemed like, how could they ever hurt this person? A lot of them, recently, tons of testimonials of women who are walking to the parking garage or walking just through the parking lot who have actually been attacked in broad daylight with people around, and they freeze and they think that someone's going to come to their safety because they're so shocked that it's happening in the broad daylight, and nobody does. And the big thing is that it's over in minutes.
Is there anything else that you'd like to throw in about women's safety and just some tips, maybe some thoughts?
I just think you know, it's incredibly empowering for these women. They leave the class just so fired up about their life. I mean, I used to be afraid most of my life, and just I had kind of a childhood experience where I saw my best friend's mother, the murder scene. So I saw the blood on the wall, and he explained how She begged for her life and was shot in the head, and I was 8 years old. And that scarred me really for a lot of years, and I was terrified. I was that girl that had nightmares, scared of everybody, scared of everything, and I think that's why I had so much fearful energy. That's why I had so many episodes in my life where people would come at me and target me as a victim. And fortunately, I've had such a great intuition inside where I knew to move and to get away. But until I started studying about predators and studying about, you know, how to keep myself safe, I'm so strong now. I'm not afraid anymore. It's just so liberating.
Pretty Loaded online training and how people can access that and how it all works and costs and all that kind of thing.
Okay, well, it's relatively simple. They just go to our website, and if they want
Which is?
prettyloaded.org, and if they want to purchase the online training, it's $49,
Okay.
and they can view the training at any time of day. They can stop it and go back, and it's unlimited training. And we have 7 modules, and it's basically, it talks about predators, their mindset, body language, intuition. We talk about verbal defense. We do a little bit of Krav Maga. I think it's really important for people to know how to use their body to fight. So we talk a lot about tips for traveling. You know, a lot of people are traveling, and they seem to be at high risk when they're in a different city. And so we give all sorts of safety tips. And
Okay.
so we have that, and then we have a DVD right now that is $29. So the advantage of the online training is whenever we add new information, the people with the online training will automatically get that.
Oh, okay. And you also do corporate speaking.
We do, and for
you bring the
universities.
training to people also.
We do, and the reason our training is a little bit different is that we speak, and then we give everybody in the audience a DVD or online training, because we really believe that they need to take it home and share it with their entire family. It's just not about their life, it's about their family and their loved one's life as well, and I think that's why we're so popular right now.
Okay. No, that's great. Your website again?
prettyloaded.org.
Okay. And that's the best way. Do you guys have an email address or phone number,
We do.
800
It's
number, anything like that?
empowered@prettyloaded.org, and then our phone number is 701-484-6306.
Great. This is Frank from Fortress Defense. I'd like to thank Beth from Pretty Loaded here for sitting down and talking to me for a few minutes here. And we're both going to remind all of you out there at this point that if not you, who?